week. And I'm not a big proponent of just cutting players just to be like, ooh, let's cut these guys. But if there's somebody viable that's sitting out there, like I don't see the reason. Now he might have that game, that big game. But I think it's always tough when there are guys that it's like you're never going to start them when they have the big game, and then you're going to okay, now let's get them, and they don't. I think he's inconsistent. If there was something great out there, I'd be fine moving forward. I just don't trust it. Jaden Reed, by the way, a couple drops, did not look good in this game. Kendra Miller on the Saints side was okay. He led the way in carries, 9 for 34. Nothing really in the passing game. Saints offense was just a little bit stuttered, and we'll see what they are moving forward.
What do you make of Jordan Love just rest of season? Because he's going to get Christian Watson back, which is going to help a lot, we would think. Yeah. Getting Aaron Jones back will help, too. He's been so touchdown dependent early on in the year. He's been getting those touchdowns. I think he was QB2 after the first 2 weeks because he had thrown 6 touchdowns. But like you said, kind of having those growing pains. So, rest of season, if you had to assign a number to him, where are you ranking him?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, he's number 3 through 2 weeks in fantasy over on Fantasy Pros. You guys can check out the ranks, and they have I love the sheet where you can check the bye-week stats. Yeah. I would say Jordan Love is if I had to assign a number, 15 is the number that came into my head. That was the number that popped in. I think he's a solid super flex. He's a little bit probably better at cost than what you drafted him. He's a solid second quarterback in Superflex. I think things are going to pop down a little bit. But like you said, it's been kind of a hot start, and he saved himself in what was – they were getting shellacked early on, and, really he was a big force of that comeback.
I have a Dynasty Superflex league where my 4 quarterbacks are Deshaun Watson, who's been terrible this year, although better today, Jordan Love, who people are expecting regression, Ryan Tannehill, who makes me want to throw up, and then C.J. Stroud. And I thought Stroud was going to be kind of like a bench guy most of this year and was a long-term play. It turns out he might just be the best quarterback.
That's your dude.
Yeah, that's your best guy. Yeah, my weekly starter. The Saints are going to host the Bucs next week, and then the Packers play on Thursday Night Football. They will host the Lions.
Maybe Aaron Jones doesn't get back. You know what? Maybe they saved him for that Thursday Night Football
game. Yeah, possibly. Speaking of those Lions, they hosted the Falcons. And then we talked about already, Sam Laporta, huge – I say breakout, but he's been catching passes in every game. This has been really fun to watch. Like I said, really breaking that model that we expect out of rookie tight ends. So he's definitely a tight end 1 moving forward. It certainly has to be. Jahmyr Gibbs, with no David Montgomery in town due to his injury, was just okay in his first start. He got the usage he wanted, which was nice. Did you have any major takeaways from watching Gibbs?
No, solid back. I had actually bet early on in the year his over season-long 660 rushing yards. I think that's absolutely in play. Montgomery's looked good. It was interesting, though, that when he became the primary back, he stopped being a focal point in the passing game. And they were very hyper-focused. There were only 4 completions total to tight ends, wide receivers, and running backs combined for the Lions. That's it. And Jahmyr Gibbs only had 1 targeted twice. So I didn't love that he was kind of taken out of the game. And speaking of taken out of the game, Bijan Robinson was completely shut down because, I reiterate once again, Desmond Ridder is so bad. He's so atrociously bad to watch that I just don't know that they can keep. I thought I saw Heineke get into that game at the end, though I'm not seeing any registered stats, and I thought he threw a pass, but maybe my vision was just blurred with it. But he's just bad, and they can't, the ineffective drives, throwing at feet, overthrowing guys, and they, it held Bijan to 10 rushes total. He did have 4 for 27 receiving, but, Bijan's, this is the most dynamic player in football. You have to, get him the primary carries, but this offense is so ineffective under Ridder that it just continuously gives you these middle-line crappy performances. London, 6 targets, 2 catches. Pitts had 9 targets in this game, but caught 5. It's just these really fun fantasy options that are depleted by what is just a bad quarterback.
Pitts could have had a 90-yard touchdown if there was a better throw, and it wouldn't have been a gimme because there was a defender kind of close, but that was on the table given his athleticism.
I think it was a little encouraging about Pitts with the target share, but he's still
he got targets. He got targets in the second half of last season and still did not do much, or before getting hurt, in second half of his season last year, and still was not able to do much. Just getting the target share because the quarterbacking was so bad. So you hope Ridder, if he can just be average, man. I mean
he's not.
I know, but if he can get there, if he can get to average between Bijan and Pitts and London.
Starting route to 9045 Prairie Street.
And even Algier, there's so much fantasy potential here. But yeah, on the Lions side, it really is nuts. You very rarely see a team only target 4 players the entire game. The way the Lions did. By the way, I didn't say the score. Lions won that one, 20-6.
Turn left.
We already mentioned
Proceed to the route.
they're doing next week. They're playing on Thursday Night Football. The Falcons, I did do it.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Prairie Street. Then turn left onto Joy Road.
Take that we're already into the London games. They're going to playing at Jacksonville, nominally in London. So make sure you get up early. I mean, it's here in the notes. I didn't put together the show sheet, so I'm just trusting it. But yeah, that's it comes early.
At the stop sign, turn left onto Joy Road. Then turn right onto Central Avenue.
The season, and make sure you get up early on Sunday, especially if you're a West Coaster.
Or don't. Or just get some extra rest and don't watch what is going to be the worst game of the season. Jags stink, Falcons stink. Maybe if you get 20 carries from Bijan, it'll be fun. But yeah, maybe just don't and just sleep.
If you do want to sleep in, make sure you use Fantasy Pros Autopilot as a part of my playbook to not have what we had last year, which was when Alvin Kamara didn't play in that early game and people weren't up early in time and left him in their lineups. Don't get caught by surprise in this game for whatever it is. Use Autopilot for the London games at least. Let's go to another.
Turn right onto Central Avenue.
Down Cleveland 27, Tennessee just 3.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Westfield Avenue.
Sean Watson had his best game of the season. Now it was against a pass funnel defense that we kind of were hoping he was going to have his best game of the season. He, of course, also still had just the funniest, most abysmal highlight of the year. You saw this, right, Welsh, where he's falling down and goes full Carson Wentz and literally throws the ball backwards in the wrong direction. And I think it was Elijah Moore to go fall on the ball. I mean, that was hysterical.
He's the best. He's the best. He's the best of the garbage out there. Yeah, I mean, look better. That's great. Amari Cooper was a pretty obvious, it was a pretty obvious play, and just like the shares that he's getting, 7 for 116 in a score. They purposely got Elijah Moore back in it. 9 targets, caught all 9, but for only 49 yards. They just wanted to get him short. The Jerome Ford situation was pretty interesting.
Turn right onto Westfield Avenue.
As he ended up only having 8 total touches, 12 total touches. He had 10 carries, but for only 18 yards. He did have a cheap score.
In 900 feet, turn right onto Prairie Street.
And he caught one, 2 for 33 in a score. On the snap counts for this one, it was 58% Jerome Ford. Kareem Hunt got a little bit, 15% snap with 2 carries. By the way, Jerome Ford's 58 snaps were 3 carries, and Pierre Strong had 9% snap count with 1 carry. They just didn't have anything in the tank. I just wonder if you're going to see a whole lot more of, even if Kareem Hunt's snap count isn't insanely high, I think you're going to see a
Turn right onto Prairie Street.
more run forced into his snap count, where Jerome Ford is out there doing more pass blocking, catching a little bit. I think he might be really tough. Maybe.
In 900 feet, the destination is on your right, 9045 Prairie Street.
His defense in general, but maybe it's going to be tough for him to be a RB2 moving forward. But we got to play.
Titans' run defense is really good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were expecting Ford to not have a very good day, so just the 2 touchdowns kind of saves it for you. On the Titan side, it's in the notes. Tajay Spears outsnapped Derrick Henry in this one. Why? Why?
We had a question in the live stream this morning where it was like, hey, who would you rather? And I'm forgetting who the other person was, but one was Tajay Spears. And I was like, well, the only reason to hold Tajay Spears right now is at the expense of Henry getting injured. Where the other person, again, forgive me for not remembering who it was, but it was like, this person can be the number 1 on that team. But it's like, what are they doing? Like, you should just 35 carries, 35 touches every single game for Derrick Henry, and that wasn't the case here. So I don't know. Tajay Spears still isn't really flex eligible or anything like that, but it's a Tajay Spears experiment. There you go. Titans don't have anything else going on.
Titans are hosting the Bengals next week, and the Browns are hosting the Ravens. Are you starting Deshaun Watson against the Ravens? Because the Ravens secondary is super banged up, but the defense has played really well. I think Mike McDonald's an awesome defensive coordinator. So against Deshaun, are you going to start him confidently?
No, definitely not confident.
Yeah,
I'm not a Deshaun Watson guy. I ranked him preseason at like 16. I don't rank him inside the top 12 unless it's absolutely necessary. So no, I'm not going to trust that matchup. Your Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, my Baltimore Ravens. Again, we will get to that game later, unfortunately. I mentioned autopilot, and just to let you know about all the other stuff My Playbook does, you can manage your fantasy football lineups and dominate your leagues with My Playbook from Fantasy Pros. It's a suite of powerful tools to help you make better decisions, manage your lineups, and win your leagues. Created by Fantasy Pros, the #1 fantasy sports advice and tools provider in the world. This app will let you import your team to get custom fantasy football news, rankings, and analysis. So sync your leagues today at fantasypros.com/myplaybook or download directly to your Apple or Android device. Well, let's get to it. Didn't end up being the most surprising outcome of the day, but one of the most surprising outcomes of the early slate, certainly. Texans 37, Jaguars just 17. The Jags offense continues to struggle. The Texans offense does not struggle with my boy CJ Stroud. Tank Dell, 5 catches, 145 yards, and a touchdown. Big broken play late in that one. He led the Texans in targets, catches, and yards. He's very undersized, but maybe it doesn't matter because he's just so good at everything else.
Tank is probably going to lead the waiver stuff this week. I don't remember what his percentages were coming in. Obviously, I know this past week he would have been one of those guys, but I think the under-owned percentage is still enough out there that he'll probably lead the way. By the way, in DK today, 3,600. Massive value. We played him. Bogman and I played him in a couple lineups, and it was a huge get. And CJ Stroud is just that guy. He's just like, he is the back-end super flex guy. He's a sleeper quarterback every single week. He was one of the cheapest quarterbacks on the DK slate as well, and it's 2 touchdowns, 200 yards. There's just volume. 30 pass attempts. I want to say that's 3 straight weeks of 30-plus pass attempts. They just throw the ball. This was the first time they could show any semi-effectiveness, and it really wasn't running the ball. They were still 26 carries for 86 yards. It was under 3.5 yards per carry, but they just throw the ball. Nico was completely irrelevant in this game, but that's the unique thing this team has. They've got Nico Collins. They've got Robert Woods, but Tank is that playmaker, and Tank is absolutely a viable wide receiver 3, I think, moving forward with how much Stroud likes to go to him.
Yeah, and Nico's been great this year, obviously.
Love
kind of
Nico.
His first bag game. We're not worried about him long term. I might be worried about
The destination is on your right, 9045 Prairie Street. Arrived.
Jags offense. I could not have been more bought in the offseason. I got Trevor Lawrence in every league. I got Calvin Ridley in every league. We have a whole team league here internally at Fantasy Pros where you kind of do the salary cap draft, but for entire teams. And I was happy to bid the most on the Jags. I was just so fully bought in. Now it's 2 straight weeks that they've really struggled. What's your concern level for this offense as a whole?
I think it's like enormously high. I play in a guillotine league, and if people don't know what that is, like every week a team gets chopped, and then those players go in the player pool. I didn't get involved in the other players, but I had Anthony Richardson on both my guillotine teams, so I don't get chopped. I put a small bid on Trevor Lawrence, and I was like, whoa, look at me, big guy in town here. I'm going to be rocking. I just got Trevor Lawrence for practically nothing. Well, you've been playing like practically nothing. I don't understand the ineffectiveness of the offense overall. Calvin Ridley just kind of keeps disappearing. They got the targets to Christian Kirk, but they can't move the ball properly. I mean, 19 for 88 on Travis Etienne is fine, but their defense is playing bad. It's just super underwhelming performances. I will say I kind of think there might be a decent buying opportunity for a guy like Calvin Ridley. I think Lawrence loves him, and when they get right, it's going to be because of Calvin Ridley. So 2 weeks of I think maybe opens up an opportunity to get a decent value on Ridley. So I might look at him in the trade market.
We sat here after week 1, and I remember doing shows with Debro and asking, where would you rank Ridley rest of season now that we've seen that he doesn't have all this rust he needs to shake off? And he was like, wide receiver 5, like very, very aggressive about it. Hasn't played out the last 2 weeks, but I think you're probably right. There's a buy low opportunity here. Jags are hosting the Falcons in London, like we said, and then the Texans are hosting the Steelers next week. Steelers, of course, playing right now on Sunday Night Football, so we don't know what they did quite yet as of the time of recording this.
Let's take a break in the action, because I want to tell you about Whatnot. If you haven't heard about them yet, well, here you go. It's time you learn about this incredible platform. Whatnot is the world's leading live shopping platform. often described as a unique blend of eBay and Twitch. Here's how it works. Streamers go live to conduct auctions where they sell a wide range of items, including sports cards, jerseys, sneakers, and much more. This week, in the hobby of sports card collecting, the highly anticipated NFL product Flawless was released. It's been making waves in the hobby, with cards worth 6 figures or more being pulled on a daily basis. You can snag a $10 discount on your first purchase by going to whatnot.com/user/fantasypros2023 and clicking sign up in the upper right corner to automatically redeem the offer. Don't miss out on this exciting opportunity. Sign up when you go to whatnot.com/user/fantasypros to redeem your $10 discount.
Let's get to an AFC East matchup here. New England 15, New York Jets 10. Very ugly game. All games with this Jets defense plus Zach Wilson are going to be ugly, but the Patriots are also not good. Mac Jones is also not good. Is there even anything to say about this?
No, I really don't. I mean, I don't want to hold people up from the Sunday Night Football game enough, and I know I don't want to waste podcast listeners' time. But Elliott, I know no one wants Elliott to be a problem, but he kind of is still. Ramondre Stevenson still not playing well. He got 19 carries for 59, but Elliott was 16 of 80. Both these offenses are just kind of muted. I'm so dumb. Like, I just wanted to be like, oh, Garrett Wilson, it could be okay. It's not okay. 9 targets in this game, but he didn't even have 50 yards on 5 catches. It's bad. So we don't have to talk. We don't have to even think about this game again, ever.
Just very quickly, because of his talent, do we need to see it before we're willing to start Breece Hall again?
I kind of think we are. I thought this was going to be the get-right situation. They did give him the majority of carries because he complained last week, but he had 13 total touches. And I think if Breece is going to get right, we got to get to 18. So if you have viable options, he is. I think at best he's a flex right now. And when you're a flex, you can get outmatched by guys like Zach Moss in decent matchups. So I'd probably rather have Zach Moss right now than Breece Hall.
Pats are at the Cowboys next week, so that will be an interesting one after today's results. And the Jets are on Sunday Night Football next week hosting the Chiefs. That might be a terrible game.
Yeah.
It probably will be a terrible game. I don't know why I said might. That game's going to suck. It'll be very one-sided. So let's go from the ugliest game of the day and maybe of the year to one of the most impressive offensive performances we might ever see. I mean, the Dolphins were a field goal. They took a knee. They could have kicked a field goal to literally set the NFL record. They scored 70 points in this game. They allowed 20 points to the Broncos and still won by 50. That's how dominant this win was.
Starting route to 9634 Prairie Street. Head south on Prairie Street. Then turn right onto Dover Street.
It's just jaw-dropping. We talked about the running backs already in our headline segment at the top of the show. The Devon A-Chain, 18 carries, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, also 4 catches, 2 more touchdowns. Raheem Mostert, just 82 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Oh, by the way, also caught 7 balls for 60 yards and another touchdown. Just incredible. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I forget who tweeted it.
Turn right onto Dover Street. Then turn right.
There was some tweet that was going around that
at the stop sign, turn right onto American Avenue.
This is the most points in PPR scoring that a pair of running backs have scored from the same team in the same game ever, and it's actually not even
in half a mile, turn left onto West Chicago Street.
Close. It's like they're in the 90s. Next closest is in the mid-80s, and nobody else is even within 20 of them. I mean, it was insane. Tyreek Hill, his usual excellent self, 9 catches, 157 yards, and a touchdown. Tua Tagovailoa might be the MVP. I mean, it's a very easy situation for him, given the play calling and the talent around him, but he's playing phenomenally well. Just an awesome fireworks game.
Yeah, 350 rushing yards total in this game, which also just shows you how bad Denver is as well. The only thing I'm going to add is actually on the Denver side. I thought it was encouraging with Cortland Sutton. Jerry Jeudy is back, but Cortland Sutton got the most targets. He got 11. He had some bad fumbles, but 8 for 91 and a score, and Russ was targeting him left and right. So I think that has made him move out of this, like, ooh, is he going to be relevant, into like, oh, yeah, no, he's still a main target. But
at the next stop sign, turn left.
Denver team's really bad. So that's my main takeaway.
Can we get Marvin Mims some more touches? Just like, only good things happen when Mims touches the ball. He's so explosive, and they just give him like 10 snaps a game. I don't know what it was today, but he ran 5 routes last week and had over 100 yards. Like, can we do more with him, please. He had the kick return for a touchdown in this one. Boy, let me tell you how little I want to watch the Broncos next game. They are in Chicago. We get Broncos Bears. I tweeted this out earlier from the Fantasy Pros account. This is the easily movable, the easily stoppable object meets the super movable object. I mean, it is like, I cannot tell you how little I want to watch this game. It is major Thursday Night Football vibes, even though...
At the stop sign, turn left onto West Chicago Street, then turn right onto American Avenue.
Played on a Sunday. That game is going to be atrocious.
It's the Miller Lite game of the week, because Miller Lite's the only thing that's going to make that game bearable.
Yes, go buy some Miller Lites, because you will need it if you're watching that game.
Turn right.
And like we said...
At the next stop sign, take a sharp right turn.
Side of this, Dolphins play the game I'm most excited about by far next week, which is Dolphins at the Bills.
One more stop in the action, because performance anxiety happens to everybody, including the pros. Conquer performance anxiety with Rougiette Ready, the latest advancement in erectile dysfunction. By combining the active ingredients in Viagra and Cialis with apomorphine, a dopamine promoter, Rougiette Ready gives your brain and your body the pump up you deserve, so you can give your...
At the stop sign, take a sharp right turn onto West Edward J. Jeffries Freeway. West Edward J. Jeffries Freeway frontage road. At the stop sign, take a sharp right turn onto West Edward J. Jeffries Freeway frontage road, then take a slight right turn onto Prairie Street.
The love they deserve without the added anxiety.
Use the right lane to take a slight right turn onto Prairie Street, then the destination is on your left.
Pharmacists, approved by doctors, trusted by over 75,000 men nationwide, and loved by you and your partner. No in-person visit needed.
The destination is on your left, 9634 Prairie Street. Arrived.
Get Ready is now available in your state exclusively at RougietteMen.com. RUGIETmen.com. Use code FANTASYPROS for 40% off your first offer, plus free shipping. If you'd rather call them, customer service is available 6 days a week at 855-581-9620. More info at RUGIETmen.com.
Let's get to the game I'm least excited to talk about. It was the Ravens losing 22-19 in overtime. The way I saw somebody phrase this on Twitter, which is accurate, is the refs stole the win from the Ravens that the Ravens didn't even deserve. Which is, I think, the Ravens did not deserve to win this game, but the refs also really hosed them multiple times late in this game. Very ugly, sloppy. This was a bad weather game. The Ravens were fumbling the ball right and left. Zach Moss, though, not the most efficient performance of all time, but he got 32 touches.
30 carries, 122 on the ground. He caught 2 for 23. I'm in. Obviously, you know, when I say the comment of like, oh, I'd rather have Zach Moss and Breece Hall, that's a now situation, because if Taylor comes back, they're also telling you what Taylor's going to be if he actually returns to this team. You know, if he gets traded, and Zach Moss through the roof here, so we don't really know where that's going to end up going. But Zach Moss looked great. He's a RB2 next week, you know, and until further notice, until Taylor's out there, you're just going to kind of keep throwing him out. Pittman looked good. Josh Downs had 12 targets in this game, which might have been a Gardner Minshew-based thing. So if he is starting Richardson.
Starting route to 9534 Prairie Street.
Out, you can pay attention to that. And then I just want to throw out Zay Flowers had 10 targets in here. Really, the passing game for your Ravens is kind of rough. Lamar Jackson's still kind of rough in some spots, but Zay Flowers is like, outside of Lamar, he's like the most dynamic athlete. Like he's a playmaker that they got to get the ball in his hands. And I thought the 10 targets was encouraging.
Zay's awesome. Total home run of a draft pick, it looks like, early on in his career.
Yeah.
If Gus Edwards doesn't play, I honestly wouldn't even bother putting in Fab for Melvin Gordon or Kenyon Drake. I don't think either of these guys is going to make an impact.
The destination is on your left, 9534 Prairie Street. Arrived.
If Edwards and Hill are both out, obviously Dobbins already out for the year, I wouldn't even bother. I think they're going to spread it around. I think Lamar is essentially going to be RB1 for this offense until Gus is back and Justice Hill is back. I could be wrong, but don't waste your Fab budget on Gordon or Drake, honestly. Like we said, the Ravens are going to be at Cleveland next week. And then the Colts are hosting the Rams, who have not played because they're on Monday night this week. Let's get to the late afternoon slate. Carolina and Seattle. Seahawks, of course, winning 37-27. Kenneth Walker continues to show that the draft pick of Zach Charbonnet didn't matter. We probably drafted him too low. 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got 3 more targets in the passing game. He has 10 targets through 3 weeks, which is really nice to see. And he continues to be just a really good running back.
Yeah, it's another one of these things. It's just, I mean, not that I'm trying to defend Etienne, but everyone's like, Tank Bigsby, Etienne. Charbonnet, Ken Walker. Like, there's some values that are out there. Though, Charbonnet, look, he was running hard. You could definitely see where there could be like a thunder and lightning aspect to this game if they really wanted to start having that share. But Ken Walker just still looks great. And very interesting watching Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, 14 targets with Andy Dalton in there. 11 for 145. That is probably an Andy Dalton special. So just know if Dalton happens to be starting in a given week, Adam Thielen should probably be in your lineup as well.
Yeah, this offense is no good. I mean, Miles Sanders got a touchdown, but 9 attempts, 24
he didn't
yards.
Get the usage, yeah.
Yeah, this is not an offense that you really want to be invested in at all, and I don't know that Bryce Young coming back would even really help because he has not looked good in the first 2 weeks.
No.
Either. The Panthers host the Vikings next week, and the Seahawks are playing on Monday night next week. That's at the Giants. Man, a lot of bad teams are in prime time here in week 4. Let's go to the biggest upset of the day. Cardinals 28, Cowboys 16. Not just an upset, but like they won by 2 scores. It was like they deserved to win. This wasn't some fluke last second thing. Was this more the Cardinals stepping up or the Cowboys playing poorly?
I mean, I don't mean to be cheap, but it was a combo of both. I mean, the Cardinals were efficient. They were getting third downs. Marquise Brown was getting the ball. James Conner was running. You just can't let him run hard. He averaged 7 yards per carry on 14 attempts. But also Dak was making really bad decisions, throwing into traffic. They did run the ball 23 times with Pollard, which was great. But CeeDee Lamb caught 4 balls in this game, and Dak just made a bunch of bad decisions. So, Marquise Brown looks good. Rondale Moore, I think, is super interesting. 7 targets, 3 on the ground. He caught 4 balls. They kind of keep getting him involved in the offense, and he might be super sneaky in these type of matchups. But I don't really know what else you take out of this. There were 4 Cowboys that were targeted 7 or more times. Gallup, Lamb, Ferguson, and Cooks irrelevant outside of Gallup with his 92 yards. It was just a really bad Cowboys game, and very excited to see everybody's power rankings for this week. When everybody had the Cowboys over the Niners. So let's go Niners.
That will definitely not be the case this upcoming. I am curious to see how far the Cowboys will fall in the eyes of a lot of people, or if they'll just kind of chalk it up to, some sort of.
When you see it, like how the Chiefs just performed, I wonder if the Chiefs would jump for some people. It's a recency thing, and I know.
Starting route to 9649 Prairie Street.
Like Cowboy fans would be pissed.
Because also, this is our first game we see without Trayvon Diggs, and not that we think the defense is going to be bad for the Cowboys going forward, just because they don't have Diggs. They still have
Mike Cardinals manhandled them. Cardinals manhandled them, and then the Chiefs absolutely demolished the Bears. And kind of similar teams, if you think.
Turn right onto West Chicago Street.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Again, who the hell cares about power rankings? But I think you'll see people be like, they're still a top 5 team, but maybe they're not as good as we thought they were.
Turn right onto American Avenue.
Yeah, also Tony Pollard, just very easy top 3 running back rest of the season.
Absolutely. I think he was mine.
At the next stop sign, take a sharp right turn.
RB3, and I think he was Debro's RB1.
He was Debro's RB1, and Debro, probably not right because of Christian McCaffrey, but he's not far off.
Yeah, that was my number 1.
Yeah, Cowboys at the Patriots next week. Arizona will be at San Francisco, who obviously won on Thursday night this week. And then lastly, we have Chiefs-Bears. The Taylor Swift game, apparently, if you were on Twitter at all or watching the broadcast, she got more screen time than the Bears did.
Yep.
41-10. I mean, Mahomes was amazing and barely.
At the stop sign, take a sharp right turn onto West Edward J. Jeffries. Freeway West Edward J. Jeffries. Freeway frontage road at the stop sign. Take a sharp right turn onto West Edward J. Jeffries Freeway frontage road. Then take a slight right turn onto Prairie Street.
I don't even know when they took him out, but it was relatively early that they did. Obviously, he had the bit of the ankle scare.
Use the right lane to take a slight right turn onto Prairie Street. Then the destination is on your right.
Kelsey caught a touchdown. Lock of locks once we knew Taylor Swift was going to be there. Pacheco scored. CEH scored.
The destination is on your right, 9649 Prairie Street. Arrived.
And then Justin Fields continues to be really bad. We talked about that at the top of the show. DJ Moore had a chance at a long one, and he ended up with just 41 yards. He did get a touchdown late in the game. Is there anything to take away from a blowout like this?
Well, good thing I locked in DJ Moore's receiving yards at 41.5 early in the week, so that really felt good. If you follow me on Betting Pros, you saw that I had it at 41.5. So, no, I actually think these are the tough ones. Like a team that was so dominant, what do you take away from it? Rashee Rice gets those targets. Really seems to be a first look type of target. You don't see a lot of wide receivers get first looks with Patrick Mahomes. He seems to start being that guy. So I'm liking Rashee Rice a lot more. Sky Moore is kind of nothing to me in all of that. And
is he droppable, Sky Moore?
Oh yeah, I think he's droppable. I would, I'd rather have Tank Dell than Sky Moore right now. So and then Bears are, I don't know where you go with it. Like we all want Roschon Johnson to be something, but no one can be anything if this offense keeps working how it is. There's nobody fantasy relevant, and I've made excuses for DJ Moore, but Justin Fields, they got to do something different, and I'd love to hear how it's going to be. Otherwise, I don't know how you start any of these guys. I don't know how you. I mean, I'm talking Justin Fields because they've got. Who do the Bears have? The Bears have Denver. That's actually a really good matchup. So that's going to get me thrown back in. But honestly,
how close to 70 points are the Bears going to get?
Like a 10% of it, maybe 7. Maybe they'll score 7.
I think they'll be 80 points away. I think they're going to get -10.
What do you think the over/under in that game is going to be? It's
oh my gosh! I mean, it could be like. I mean, this might be like if you remember, like Iowa last year in college football had a game where the total in that game was like 28. Like it would have to be really low for me to not take the under in Bears Broncos.
I think it's going to be like 41.5 or 42 or something.
I think it'll be like 38.
Okay. It's probably already out there, but I don't have
it probably is. I don't have it pulled up.
We have the DraftKings app up, which you guys can check out. We would probably know.
Yes, that's on us for not having it up.
Starting route to 9628 Prairie Street.
So like we said, Bears, Broncos next week, and then Chiefs will be on Sunday Night Football against the Jets. I hope everybody stuck around because we have a giveaway here. Deebo Samuel didn't play today, of course, was very good on Thursday. The winner of the autographed Deebo Samuel San Francisco 49ers jersey, courtesy of bettingpros.com, is Charlie Brown. Please get in touch with our customer support agents at mailbag@fantasypros.com. Yes, I know. With your mailing address and
arrived.
Proof of your subscription to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, and we will get that jersey shipped out to you. Again, the winner is Charlie Brown. Congratulations. I told our producer, Chris, that I would not make a Peanuts joke. I'm sure Charlie Brown gets it all the time, but that is his name on YouTube. So again, congrats to Charlie Brown on winning that jersey.
Check this out. Hold on before you go. 45.5 is the line currently for that game next week. Broncos at Chicago.
I mean, I know the defenses both suck, but so do the offense.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out to you if you want to.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing when I'm guessing it's going to be under 4. I will be taking the under in that game. I can.
Yeah, smash it now.
Take it while you can. Well, fun stuff. Fun week 3, except for me with the Ravens. Hopefully it goes better for them in week 4, and hopefully everybody's fantasy matchups went well today and will go well in week 4 as well. Thank you for letting me fill in for Boggs here, Welsh. For Welsh, I am Ryan Wormley. We'll see you guys again next time. Thanks for listening to the Fantasy Pros Fantasy Football Podcast. Follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Fantasy Pros, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/fantasypros.
When your favorite team is fighting for a win, there's truly nothing like a Guinness. That's because Guinness Draft's bold flavor is the ideal game day addition. The taste, smoothly balanced, just like a perfectly executed game plan. More than just a pint, Guinness Draft is about bringing people together. So gather all your friends, raise your glasses, and toast to a win. Please drink responsibly. Do not share with those who are under the legal purchase age of alcohol. Guinness Draft Stout. Imported by Diageo, Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
Here's something every football fan should know. You can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything, because you can't get your dream running back for your fantasy team delivered with Uber Eats, but they will deliver flapjacks, tacos, and six-packs. Great pass protection? No. Great pizza selection? Yes. Championship defense? No. Deodorant? Yes. Turnovers? No. Turnovers the pastry? Yes, because that's groceries. You can get those delivered with Uber Eats too, and food from your favorite restaurants and other essentials. So this season...
Starting route to 629 Fingry Street. Head south on Prairie Street, then turn left onto West Chicago Street.
Get anything, well, almost anything for game day by ordering on the Uber Eats app. Uber Eats, an official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
An epic matchup between your two favorite teams, and you're at the game getting the most from what it means to be here with American Express. You breeze through the card member entrance, stop by the lounge.
At the stop sign, turn left onto West Chicago Street.
Now it's almost tip-off, and everyone's already on their feet. This is gonna be good. See how to elevate your live sports experience at americanexpress.com/withAmex. Don't live life without it. Eligible American Express card required. Benefits vary by card and by venue. Terms apply.
Hello.
At the light, take a slight right turn onto West Edward J. Jeffries Freeway. West Edward J. Jeffries Freeway frontage road.
Welcome to the first EstablishTheRun.com
Stay in the second lane from left.
betting show of the 2023 NFL season. My name is Adam Levitan, and today I am joined by a young man who works with one of the most respected sports books in the world. They take big action without limiting anyone. I know this because I have lost a small village's GDP to them. It is, of course, Jeff Benson, Director of Operations for Circa Sportsbook. Jeff, how's it going today?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to talking some NFL now that we're in week 3 here.
For sure. First of all, be sure you guys are all following Jeff on Twitter at JeffreyBenson12. He's real spicy on there, mixing it up with the hellscape that is known as sports betting Twitter. I just want to be clear before we get into it here. The goal of this show is not to make picks. If you're here for us to tout, winners or whatever, I have bad news.
At the next light, turn left.
The goal here is not to make picks. We're going to talk about where the money is, where it might go, any sports betting topics, industry stuff. Just pick Jeff's brain for 10 to 20 minutes like we did with Matthew Davidow last.
At the light, turn left onto Joy Road.
Year. All right.